Okay, first of all, everyone, please give me a pat on the back because I finally went upstream to the problem, and instead of trying to do this in my office and then being so annoyed with my husband who has to do the garbage at 6 p.m. and went upstream to the problem and went, well, the problem is I just need space where no one will bother me. Well, where will that space be? It's down in the basement. So we're down in the basement, and we're just going to be down in the basement. Although someday I'll show you right around over there in the corner is a storage room filled with way too much stuff that if I have my druthers someday will be like a podcast / film studio for Jesse to whatever, all soundproof to it. I can just go back in there and lock the door and never come out. Someday that might happen. So for now, we're down here in the basement, though. We've got lots of stuff to go over, including some guest speakers. So we're going to get right into the calendar for this week, which I did not post today because I kept the focus on Team Cup and trying to get everyone situated on a Team Cup since we start tomorrow. But I will post this calendar a little bit later. And of course, it went out in your team email this morning as well. Tomorrow, we have our next mindset workshop with Brad Bizjack, which, if you can believe it, it's hard for me to believe we're already into week 5. Tomorrow is week 5 already. I'm probably making this up, but I want to say it's around clarity, but I could be making that up. Sometimes I'm just making it up. But whatever it is, it'll be good. So that's tomorrow, 1 p.m., of course, open to everyone. And I know that just to recap, I know that when we started this, I talked about streaming it live into the Facebook group, and it has felt good not to. It feels a little safer and a little more private. And then those recordings are always shared in Sparta School, so you can go back and rewatch them should you not be able to be on live. And I understand people just can't sometimes in the middle of the day. So I encourage you to make sure that you're setting time in your schedule to go back and watch them live if you're not able to be on live with them. So that's tomorrow, week 5, Slay Squad call. Tomorrow, we got a whole new set of speakers in February that, of course, also went out in your team email. And it's Stephanie, used to be, I know her as Stephanie Chico, but she's not Stephanie Chico anymore. And she'll be talking tomorrow night. And I have a feeling, I'm not sure exactly what her topic is, but I have a feeling she's going to talk maybe about a comeback because she's had one and it's been really great to watch. And so that's going to be a really great call tomorrow night. And then Tuesday, we have our Team Cup Tuesday with top coaches popping live. Those have been so fantastic. I hope you've found them as much fun as I have found them. And then, of course, all of February, we're into Team Cup. I put the Friday Collab Power Hour on here as well because Trina Gray runs the Friday Power Hour. She and I alternate. So I just kind of kept that on Fridays. And if you have the opportunity to do so, to just commit to Friday at 1 along with the others, I think that would be amazing because we know Trina always runs a really great one as well. And then Saturday, I'm going to be asking you all week to be checking in with your team goals and to be staying accountable, and more than accountable, really just holding yourself to a standard for Team Cup, and whatever you and your team decide will be your standard, holding yourself to that. So all of February for the next 28 days, it is 28, right? Last year was a leap year. So it's 28 this year. I think so. 28. We're going to go with 28 days and hold yourself to that standard for all of February, because it can be a game changer. Should you choose for Team Cup to be a game changer, it can do that for you in your business. There is no Turbo Saturday this Saturday. So we're off this Saturday, back again the 13th. So just mark your calendar for that. Okay. Any questions on this? Any questions? No questions? Just put them in the chat, tag me if you got questions. I talked about this last week, and it's worth saying again. We don't have launches necessarily in February. We have the no band workouts with Autumn coming up next week. Please remind me. I never can remember if they're off the wall or off track. I want to say off the wall. Off the wall. Okay. Off the wall. But those launch next Monday. So we've got those. But that's really the only launch that's happening in February. This is the month with Team Cup where we see who's building a business and who's enjoying a hobby. And I will say it over and over again, neither one is wrong. But if you're building a business, you don't need a launch to build a business. And I'm going to talk about this a little bit later, but it's worth saying right now, and I want you to write this down. It's a question I want you to ask yourself. Are you building a business off programs and products, or are you building a business based off your habits, your mindsets, your vision, and your energy? What are you building your business off of? Your programs and your products, or off your mindsets, your habits, your practices, your energy, your vision? How are you building your business? Because if you're building your business over here off habits, it doesn't really matter if there's a launch or not. It doesn't matter if there's a launch. For me, I'm still going to show up and work out every single day. So February is such an excellent month where we start to filter a little bit, like, do you get what this business is about? Because it's not just about programs. And if you're waiting to launch your business based on just a program, you're missing the depth and breadth of what we have to offer, because it's so much deeper than just a program. February is the perfect opportunity to showcase that. So make sure you're on a Team Cup. If you're not, we've had several posts in the team page where you can go in, tag your upline coach, get on a team, make sure you're on a team, because all it is working your business, but with a intimate group of people that you will hold yourself to a standard. So it's pretty cool stuff. All right. Again, are you on a team page? This is the post that I'm talking about, including the one that I posted today. So there have been a minimum of two posts in the team page where you can tag your upline and you can get on a Team Cup. And whether there's a post in the team page or not, you know who your upline coach is. And I know I said this on the Power Hour on Friday. You can't wait for someone to reach out their hand to you. If you are not on a Team Cup yet, you have to raise your hand, go to your upline coach, go to your teammates, post in the team. You have to own your business and get yourself on a Team Cup, whether someone's babysitting you or not. Now, if you're a brand new coach, you got no idea what Team Cup is. That's okay. You come on a team with a veteran coach and we'll take care of you. We will take care of you. But if you've been in the business and you've been through a Team Cup at least once, then you need to be on a Team Cup, because it really is working your business. It's the vital behaviors and you're holding yourself to a standard. So this exact graphic, along with others in the team page, are where you can go tag your upline and try to find a team with your upline's help. But you don't have to wait for that either. You could go right now and message your upline coach and go, dude, I need a Team Cup, and get on one. I know that there's been a little bit of talk in the Superstar Mastermind thread asking for an extension for Team Cup registration. So we'll see if that happens. And if it does, then you'll be in luck if you're not on a Team Cup yet. So let's make that happen. All right. Are you on our text thread? I'm just going to keep saying this every week until every single coach is on our text thread, because personally, I think it's the coolest thing ever. Like, I can voice message you, I can send you graphics, and it's not on social media. So there's no depending on if you're on Facebook or if you're on Instagram or if you catch it, or, none of that. It's just going to come right to your phone. And then there's no need to respond. It's just simply taking in although I like it when you respond. When I open up the app and I see people that have responded like, I can't wait, that makes my day. But there's no need to. You don't feel like you have to. I'm just staying as connected with you as possible in as many ways as possible. I believe in more communication rather than less, but I like to do it in a lot of different ways. So whether it's email, newsletter, Facebook group, text thread, the more we can stay connected, the better. So if you are not on this text thread group, make sure you get on it tonight. You could be texting right now. Text to that number and just text Sparta Nation, and I'll get you added in tonight. Make sure your coach is on there too. Okay, now you know why we've got some guest speakers on here tonight, because these 4 women represented Sparta Nation, their teams, their families, themselves at New Leader Conference this weekend. Now, Truth be told, I'm jealous of New Leader Conference every year it happens, because it came into existence. I don't know, did they tell you 5 years ago, maybe 5 or 6 years ago? Whatever it was, I was already past the point of 1 star, and I've never been able to go to New Leader. And then last year, fun fact, the last time I got on an airplane was when I went out to LA last year to support our Sparta Nation coaches who were out there. We went to Disneyland and did all the things. And then I came home, and then the world shut down. So I have not been on an airplane since New Leader Conference in 2020. And this year, of course, it being virtual is a slightly different experience, but yet listening to these 4, I actually don't think it was a slightly different experience. I think it was exactly the experience that New Leader Conference always is. And I tell you what, listening to them, watching the messages that they sent me, being engaged in conversation with them over the weekend was so inspiring to me. And man, Beachbody took such good care of you guys. I mean, these boxes are amazing. They got sneak peeks. They got the first workout with Shaun T for the new program. They got a new calendar of products and programs. Like, corporate takes care of you when you go to New Leader Conference, takes care of you. And I think we had 800 and some that qualified for it this year, which is really exciting. And, every coach that goes takes away a little something different. And yet there's tons of connective tissue. But here's what's cool. And I remember this from a few years ago when we had Gary Vaynerchuk speak at Summit. And he was talking about his social media secrets. And he's like, people ask me all the time, what'd you do to grow? What'd you do to grow? What'd you do to grow? And he said on stage at Summit, he goes, I'm going to tell you everything I did. He goes, the reason why I don't have any issue with telling you everything that I did is because most of you won't do it. And there was this very tangible, kind of gasp in the audience when he said that. And there was also a realization that he was right. That we can have all the information in the world, but until we decide to take action on it, it really doesn't matter. So these ladies are kind and generous enough to share with you tonight, not only their knowledge that they learned, but their energy and their excitement, because they are so excited about what they learned. It's been so much fun to be a part of the message thread with them. And they will tell you everything. They will tell you after this meeting if you message them. And none of it will matter if you don't take action on it. None of it will matter for them if they don't take action on it. And even after a whole weekend, after I go to leadership and after I do all that, after we go to Summit, I mean, there is only so much that you can do at one time. But the point is, what are you going to take action on right now, tomorrow? Because they're going to give it all to you. They're going to give you what they learned. What are you going to do with it? Whether you were at that event or not, what are you going to do with it? So I think we had an order. I don't know what the order was. I have no idea, but I'm going to stop the share. And I'm actually just going to go over. Do any of you guys have slides? Oh, then it doesn't matter if you're a host or not. Okay, cool. So who's first? Sarah. Okay, Sarah, just unmute yourself. And I'm going to make you speaker view. So Sarah takes up, let me pin you too. Okay, there we go. You should be good.
Okay.
Yep, you're good.
Am I good? Okay. All right. Well, I'm Sarah Hayes, and I feel like it is relevant to say I'm 1 star. I'm 1 star. And when I went into this, and honestly, I'll jump back just really quick and say that I did not finish last year like I wish that I would have as far as just investing in my business. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate, which is why I'm sharing that. And honestly, leading up to this event, I was pumped. I was so pumped when I earned it. And, we got there. But then obviously so much felt like it was taken away from us. And then even coming into it, I was part of the Facebook group, and some of these girls were just so fired up. I mean, they were so excited. And I honestly was like, I was excited, but I wasn't just dying, because I was still trying to really shift my focus back and get that fire lit. So I don't say that to encourage you to stay there, but I say that because we feel that way. I feel that way. And what I am finding so much, especially hearing people talk in this format, is that we're not alone in those struggles. There are some girls in this NLC that shared that they're back to Emerald. And then there are some girls in here that are 3-star, or they're already qualified for the fall conference or whatever. So everybody's just at different places. And that was such a valuable reminder for me. And just, we talk so much about our communities and our teams, but then also the Beachbody community. And that was so felt in this event. So just wanted to say that.
Okay, so I want you to stop right there because I want everyone to take that in. That is really, really powerful that we all can come into events or situations or conversations or invitations with these sort of pre-set up expectations of something that should or shouldn't, or it's always the should. I should be further along. I should be more excited. We should be there live. We should. And then you get there and you're exactly where you're supposed to be, doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing with exactly the people that you're supposed to be doing with so that you can fill your own fire, and we waste so much mental energy on should, when if we would just be, how much more space would we free up in our heads to actually be, it's so funny. And Jessie had the same experience this weekend. She had an online musical theater conference all weekend. She's like, I should be more excited about this. I should be more excited about this. And I said, now you and I both know what's going to happen, right, Jessie? Like, you're going to feel that way. And then tomorrow night, when you're done, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I was there. Sure enough, that's what happened. But there was some brain space taken up before that with, I should be more excited about that. And you had that too. And I'm glad that you shared that, because if we don't share, we forget that, oh, right, everyone's feeling this. We just, oh no, I'm the only one. No, you're never the only one feeling the thing you're feeling, ever, ever, ever. Okay, go ahead.
Absolutely. And then, I will say, coming out of it, I was pretty been out of shape that I wasn't in Vegas and doing all this together. But then I thought, but the whole reason that probably all of us like this is because we don't have to go. We can be right here in our office with our candle and our family if we need to. And we can still do it. So just shifting that focus to, yeah, that would be great, but that's not why. So that was just a big moment for me. So going into some of my takeaways, I have to say this too. Nothing that I heard was like below my mind. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that they shared that with us. And I think we all know that if we've been around a while, you hear a lot of the same things. You just hear them in different contexts. So there was a lot of really great context to what we heard, but I think you're going to find some familiarity in a lot of it. So I'll start with Carl, because of course he is good at kicking these things off. He gave his top 10 keys to being a successful coach. I'm going to share his top 2. So he shared 10, and then he gave his top 2. And those were work harder and confidence, have confidence. So work harder, be willing to work harder than you're asking anybody else to work, not be willing to work harder than anybody else in the room. Be willing to work harder than you're asking your team to work. So, yes, anybody else in the room, but what are you asking your team to do? And are you leading from the front? Are you working harder than them? I think they shared some sort of statistic that said your team's probably going to do about 25% of what you do, something of that nature. Which is just very eye-opening. And again, we hear that a lot, lead from the front. That's such a key term that we hear, but when you put that number to it, it's just very eye-opening. And then confidence, take action even when you're filled with fear. So all I have to say is, if you're not reading Fear is My Homeboy, go do that. Essentially, that's what Carl said. I mean, that is exactly what that book teaches you to do if you guys aren't reading it. It has totally changed the game for me when it comes to fear. So I felt like, I'm checking that box. I'm referring to some notes, and move towards fear, even if you think other people aren't going to like it. So be okay with not being liked by everybody. So it's kind of that's my first bullet. The second takeaway was strategy. So have a plan for everybody, have a plan for your customers, have a plan for your coaches, and have a plan for how to convert your customers to your coaches. And that does not mean a bunch of cold invites. And I have heard that if you guys haven't watched the Chelsea Pearson training in the Slay Squad from last week, also that was a huge thing for me to get away from those cold invites. And I felt like they just brought a lot of clarity to that inviting process. So I'd love to share every single detail that I have in this book with you guys, and I can't. But there was a lot of examples of how some of these coaches onboard their customers or their coaches, which was very helpful. I'm happy to share some of that, off this call. But the point is, have that plan. And we hear this a lot. Just have a plan, start, be willing to suck at it at first, and then improvise the plan. But luckily, we don't really have to suck at it because we have so many people sharing. But as far as inviting goes and the strategy with inviting, it's just, have conversations. Like, I'm going to change my bat. I think I'm going to eliminate the word inviting from my vocabulary because that has such a yucky connotation with me because I've dreaded it so much. I've put it off so much. It's just conversations, be a human being. Again, these are just all the things that we keep hearing, but, inviting starts with conversations. And then when you have those conversations, know where they're going, have them with intention, all that good stuff. The third thing was consistency. Can you believe that they said that? Show up every single day. And I'll go to kind of social media on that, obviously, because I think a lot of us, if we're here, we're probably showing up, we're doing our workouts, we're drinking our Shakeology. That's probably a given for us, but are we showing that, and are we being ourselves and presenting ourselves as a resource to whatever we're a resource for, not just Beachbody, on social media and to our network? And Emily Favre spoke on social media, which was amazing because she's amazing. But she said, constantly be trying new things and post with a purpose. And she said, every day when she wakes up, she asks herself, how can I make people feel, think, and laugh? And that is what drives her posts. So obviously she's in probably a different category in the social media world than any of us. But, she also reminded us, she's like, I started just like everybody else. And she even takes her new coaches, she'll take them on a call down to the bottom of her Instagram feed and show them, this is where I started too. We all start there. And then again, you just try new things and let yourself grow. She's like, you're not the same person you were 5 years ago. You're not going to be the same person in 5 years. Be willing to let yourself evolve and let that story unfold on social media. She also said reels. And I've heard that from a couple of people that, like, as soon as they started doing reels, it blew up. So that was kind of, those are my three big chunks. And then the last thing is this is all just very general from the 2 days, but ask questions and listen. So, when you're bringing people in, what's your why? What do you want? And not just what's your why, we have to dig deeper. And I think we've probably all been taken along that journey, whether we're in the Brad Bizjack training or we're doing the Judy Holler, or we just are on the team calls with Julie. It's not just why, it's why, but why, but why. Any of you do like the 6 Sigma quality thing, like 5 whys at least. And then what do you want? And that's separate from your why. Julie's tennis shoes, that's the thing I always go back to, or the house in Florida, or whatever you want. Like, what do you want other than that? Which again, we hear a lot. And then when you're working with new people and you're going through that invite process and you bring new people on, can I hold you accountable? Ask them that question. Can I hold you accountable? And that's not something I've done. And I look back and I think, I wish I knew how they would best respond. Should I give them some tough love? Should I call them every day? Because I'm willing to do whatever because I want to help. But you got to kind of ask them how. And then these are just random questions, but will you trust me for 30 days when it comes to the 30-day returns? Somebody was talking about that, and they were saying that they leverage that. I always kind of feel like I need to kind of hold it close unless it really comes down to having to share it. But, they're like, will you trust me for 30 days? Will you just try it for 30 days? And then that lets them know, it kind of gives them a lot. It gives them a finite amount of time. It's a decent amount of time so they don't feel rushed, but they also feel like, okay, in 30 days, I'm going to have some results. And then they also feel like they have a little bit of insurance. So that's really all of my notes. So I kind of wanted to keep it organized and short. So if you have any questions, let me know.
I think that was awesome. Really great takeaways. I'm unpinning you now.
Okay.
Maybe. Okay, I did. Okay, that's awesome. Who's next? Stephanie, perfect. I'm pinning you, Stephanie. You're up, girl.
Okay, so I'm going to piggyback a lot off of what Sarah said. We had a lot of the same takeaways. I want to start with saying that we are very fortunate to be in this team of Sparta Nation with Julie as our light that gives us the opportunities that we have, because like Sarah said, I feel like there wasn't a huge being blown away by something that we've heard other than Barb at the end. And Megan's going to talk about her. But we hear from a lot of the top coaches that were on the panels, being part of Slay Squad and being given those opportunities. So it wasn't a big, oh my gosh, I've never heard this before, which is great because it means that we hear a lot of the same stuff and it builds up and adds up, and getting to take all that in over and over, great reminders. One thing that I wrote in big capital letters when Kim Carver said, believe you can lead, believe you can mentor, and believe in yourself. I really needed to hear a lot of that this weekend with this conference being at home, those reminders that we are still leaders and that we earned a spot, even though it wasn't all it was built up to be in the last couple of years that I've heard about this experience. It was great. There was a lot of, great information. And I think corporate does a really good job of making us feel recognized and special. And Michael Neiman had me in tears like he usually does. And Kim was great and Doug Moss was great. So But
wait, did Carl make you cry?
Carl did not make me cry this time.
Okay, well then I'm going to have to message him and tell him he did not do his job, because every time he does an event, I'm like, okay, what you got for me? Because 13 years in, Carl, I cry every time. No pressure, but I cry every time. And then he'll be like at leadership. When he was on video, he goes, okay, well, my job is to make Julie Vorst cry. So
yeah.
So if he didn't, then Keyshawn did. Well, if Carl didn't, he may be losing his touch, and he and I may need to have a heart to heart. But I'm glad that Michael did. I'm glad someone did. That's good. Okay.
Yeah. Michael and Keyshawn, definitely. We were all wiping away the tears, and she was too. One of the coaches on, I think it was, I cannot remember. It was the one where there were like 4 or 5 of them. And I want to say she was maybe Angela. I didn't write down her name, but the quote that she said, be a sprinkler, not a sponge, really made me stop and think about how I need to take this information to my coaches and to my challengers and share it with them, because not everybody shows up on the lives. Not everybody tunes into all the team calls. And so just going into my coach group, my private group that I have on Facebook, and going live more often in there. That leads me to kind of talk about Carrie Schneider, which is kind of funny because I don't really feel like she clicks well with me, but everything she said, I found myself like just over and over, and I could not write fast enough. I will say, because she did the National Wake Up Call not too long ago, right? Like
she did a Slay Squad call too.
Okay.
And I remember, because I remember that was the first time I ever heard from her, and I'm like, oh, well, oh, okay. And then she kept squeaked in right at the end into top 10. I'm like, what's happening here? So it's just interesting to watch some of that. So when I heard that she was a new leader, I'm really interested to hear what she was talking on, and because I know her work ethic is like.
Yes. And I think that what she spoke to us at New Leader was way better than what she presented in Slay Squad and the National Wake Up Call that she did. Cause I just kind of thought, I don't know, she didn't present herself really well as a leader then. And now she definitely did a better job of it this time, because I was going, oh my gosh, I needed these reminders. As I shared with you all in the message thread, I have been in a spot lately where I don't feel like I'm showing up good enough. I am not enough. Like that phrase has been all over my head in the last several months with being back at work in a classroom and then going through multiple quarantines of having to be at home because of family exposures, positives, and then all of that just weighing on me, along with not feeling like I'm doing this job well enough. And hearing those reminders about needing to show up in your challenge group and in your coach group and going live and talking, like that was my reminder. I'm like, those people need me. Like there's a reason why they signed up with me. And so I need to continue to show up as my best self. She kept saying, show up as your highest self, even on the days you don't feel like it. Remember why you're there, remember why they're there. And she also said that last year when she was at New Leader Conference, somebody came on the stage and said that our job is to get results and give results. So that's just that reminder to me that I need to continue to show up in my challenge group, go live in there more often, not just post a graphic and a little quote, but also to get in there and just remind them and motivate. She also talked about sharing products, going live and sharing products in your challenge group, just the people who aren't using everything, like talk about Beach Bars, talk about Energize, talk about Recover, because I do have people that don't use Energize, and I'm thinking, well, how on earth do you do that?
How are they even alive? Like,
I know, right?
That makes no sense to me.
But promote that more. Just the consistency. She kept saying, like, be it, do it, and show it. And she talked about how your challenge group, you need to advertise it like it's a party. Share in social media that you post meal plans and show that people are you recognize people who are showing up for their workouts, and use what you have in that group to make people want to be a part of it. And so I kind of forget to do that. I forget to take the focus off me sometimes on social and use those recognition pieces in your challenge group to make people want to be there. Share what's happening and share those results. A couple other things.
Before you go any further, I want to talk about that get results, give results, because I want people to remember she's likely not just talking about challengers, because that's where our first thought goes. Oh, I got to help someone lose weight. You could actually help someone grow a business. That's getting results too. So please don't be so tunnel focused on, just my challengers and I got to help someone lose 20 pounds or help the meal plan. No, you could actually help someone grow a business that pays for their groceries that week and changes their life. So when someone says get results, give results, you have to be getting results in your business too, just like you are in your physical fitness. And then sure, you want to be giving results to your customers, but you could be giving results to your coaches too. So just remember that it's all of it. It's not, don't be so tunnel focused.
Yes. I used to talk in my coach group all the time. I used to show up and talk and share all the time. And I found myself stepping back from that since going back to work. And I thought, I used to be here. So this was my great reminder I needed to show up. And I'm going to take a little idea from Nicolette Anderson. I really liked what she shared about trying to build a coaching business that would produce income. So she shared a lot about that. I liked her idea of an open mic hustle hour on Wednesday nights. And so kind of like what you have shared, Julie, for our Zoom, this open Zoom, I'm going to try to do this on one night a week, either Wednesday. I've tried for Wednesdays, but those are gymnastics nights. So we'll see what I can do. But just open up a link in my team page and have anybody there that wants to show up. And if they don't want to show up, then at least I'm there. And that's my hustle hour. So I can use that to focus on work for me, but do I'm going to call it a hustle happy hour. So see if I can get some buy-in on that.
Open mic, I immediately went, oh, I'm totally using that. That totally fits me. Open mic, I'm in. I love it. So I think I called the one on Tuesday, open Zoom link. There was no creativity whatsoever with that. I'm like, it's an open Zoom link, but we're going to go back and rebrand that to open mic. Okay, I love it. Stealing that. Please proceed.
But that's pretty much all I have for my part. And I'm grateful to have this opportunity. I'm grateful they didn't just say, oh, well, it's canceled, we're not going to do anything. At least we had what we had, and it was very informational. It lit my fire again and showed me what I need to do to keep moving forward. And like you said, over and over, they said, we cannot just sit on all of this. Like, we have to put it into action.
So true. So true. Good stuff. And you guys have all shared news, like different stuff. So I'm taking notes over here too. Okay. Megan is going to share on the speaker that you had. So let me unpin Stephanie, pin Megan. And just so you guys have some behind the scenes that as she's sharing, they had this amazing speaker. I'd never heard of her. And when she came on, all four were messaging me like, you need to know this woman right now. And they're like, oh, she has a book. Oh, and while they're like blah, blah, blahing on Messenger, I'm already over on her website buying all the things. Like, who they think they're dealing with here? Like the book, the perfume, it's already on. And then later, like 6 messages later, they're like, oh, I think I'll get the book. I'm like, dudes, I already ordered that thing. The minute you said she was good, I'm like, I'm in. So then I watched that video. I mean, she just seems fantastic. So I'm super excited always to find a new sort of mentor, a personal development mentor that we didn't even know. This could be, a new person for us, which is so fun. It's kind of like when we all discovered Judy Holler, when we discovered Kendra Hall. It's so cool to find a new, fresh voice. So Meg's going to share with us her takeaways from that speaker.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Megan. Okay. Yes. What Julie said, the author and business owner was Barb Stegman, who presented to us what it is to live with meaning and purpose. And wow, like everything that came out of her mouth, I was gushing, I felt like, and I'm going to just write down share with you the things that I couldn't write fast enough. That it's so interesting how what we do parallels to so many businesses. And it's just about how we treat people and how we think about ourselves each day. And there's if you look at her Instagram page, well, actually her book, okay, it's called The 7 Virtues of a Philosopher Queen. I don't know if you can see it on here, but we can probably put it in the messages and stuff. But I ordered it as well while she was speaking with her perfume packs. She makes perfumes. So anyway, but that's the power of being influenced by a strong woman, I should say. But basically there's on her Instagram page, there's a cool video you can watch, and it's a little snippet about who she is, and it's called Business for a Better World. And that alone inspired me because I feel like what we do is making an impact on people's lives and, turning it into a great world. So, okay, I'm going to get to it. So basically the 7 virtues that she really first started us with are wonder, balance, truth, courage, justice, wisdom, and beauty. And I suppose that her book is going to obviously dive into all those things more specifically. So I can't wait to read it. But when she first started with wonder, she talks about starting her day with wonder instead of judgment and thinking about, I wonder what great things are going to happen today. And as a result, all the great things are going to happen to us. But if we start our day with judgment, obviously it's going to be the contrary. She talked about balance, and balance specifically being body, mind, and soul, and how it's so important that all 3 of those things work in harmony for us to get the most balance in our days. Truth is speaking the truth. And simple as that, the more we speak the truth, the better. We're using our gifts to share. The next was courage. And I loved this. She really talked about we all have our own unique gifts, and we are selfish if we do not share those gifts. And, for me, I think about let's not play small and be hindering or making our gifts seem small because we don't want to intimidate people, but instead have that courage to share those gifts. The next is justice, wisdom, and beauty. And beauty is your expression, and it's your power and your dignity. And those are the gifts we have to give to the world. So those are the 7 virtues that she, did an overview on. And the next thing, this quote really that she said was so powerful. And it says, show by your actions who you are and what you do. Show the movement you are creating. And by doing that, people will follow and join you. I might have, messed up the words a little bit, but something to that point. Again, show by your actions who you are and what you do. Show the movement you are creating. And by doing that, people will naturally join you. I mean, I feel hot right now. I probably could take the scarf off, but I just think that is so powerful because we have such a gift in what we do. We have these amazing tools, but really it's our energy and our passion to help people that can make such a difference and then create the biggest impact, which then creates the biggest business for ourselves. And that's what she's doing it. And she's serving through going to these like third world countries and creating perfumes out of, just helping small communities make a big name for themselves. And then as a result, we're all buying her perfume right now. But it's more about the feeling she left with us that's making us go after that. And I know Julie and a lot of the coaches this week talked about, it's not about the products, it's about how we make people feel. And she exuded that through and through. And she said to show up at everything. She talked about how she shows up at volunteer events in her community. She shows up on radio stations, and the amount of impact that has comes back to her, but more she's thinking of how she's serving others. And it just is this like perfect harmony. And I so believe that, like, my team sometimes is like, good Lord, you could sell like a ketchup popsicle to a polar bear or something. I don't know. Someone said that to me recently, but really, I just don't miss an opportunity to talk about what I do. And it's not about benefiting me. It's about how I can help them. And I feel like when we live and lead that way, the good just follows. So she really talked about that. And then the third thing I wanted to say that I think is so important and something that I help my coaches with all the time is she said, when you wake up and you're ready to win and thrive, get ready for the naysayers, essentially. She said 20% are never going to like you. Never. And for us to be able to accept that, I think is everything. And for me, that's been a huge milestone in the last couple of years. And it's paying off in my Target career, in my friendships, and in my Beachbody business. She said,
What's so interesting about that too? Also, did everyone hear that she works at Target? Just by the way, she's a Beachbody coach and works at Target. Like, who doesn't want to be Megan right now? But the funny thing is when we flip that, so 20% of people won't like us. If we flip that and think, you know what, actually, there are 20% of the people in the world we don't like either. And somehow it's okay when we don't like someone, but if someone doesn't like us, we get all like, oh, well, that person doesn't like what I do. Therefore, I must quit this multi-million-dollar business because one rando person doesn't. We forget, like, well, there's also people in the world that we don't like. I mean, that's just the way it is. That's just human nature, And so remembering when we get that backlash or that hater or that naysayer or the whatever, to kind of remember, oh yeah, because there's also people we don't like too. And it's okay. We can all exist in the world and it's still fine. So I'm sure that was a good reminder for you, for her to hear it from her as well.
Yeah, for sure. And she said, to give them no energy. So, she said you can get all the compliments, all the business, but sometimes when you get that one like icky thing, it's like you just hone in on that for way too long. And one thing is she calls her husband her hot husband. But she's like, I don't even open an email if I can tell it's going to be negative. She said, I give it to my hot husband to read because I'm not even going to go there. So I was like, that's awesome. And it's also good that we don't need to I just feel like we don't need to even entertain that because that's not who we want to attract anyway. But she just really talked about honor your soul, give it no energy, and protect your joy. And I think that's so important because I think when we invite and people say no, we take it personal sometimes, and it's just okay to move forward. And then the last thing on that, she really said in terms of inviting, and it's funny because I don't know if she fully knows even what we do at Beachbody, but she said, typically people have to hear 5 times before they say yes, 5 times. So 5 connections before they say yes. So that's why it's so important we're inviting every day, because who I invite today might say yes in May. And so if we never stop, it just keeps coming, but we have to be persistent and have those connections. Like Sarah said, it's not even just inviting, it's just connecting, collaborating, and never going away. So anyway, okay, here we go. So the last thing she really talked about, leadership. Leadership is when you are always thinking about how to make the person in front of you stronger. Leadership is when you are always thinking about how to make the person in front of you stronger. A leader has charisma, which is a combination of humble confidence. A leader is someone that visualizes for themselves and their team. A leader is someone that has a gift and is going to share it. A leader is not scared. A leader is how you can make the person in front of you stronger, like I already said. And a leader is when you find a mission that is bigger than you. So gosh, I just feel like I'm having all the chills all over again, but it was so amazing. And as I wrap up my turn and hand over to Jen to close this out, I want to say it wasn't Barb, it was another coach we learned. And it was, I forget her name, she was precious. And in 1 year she became elite and she had 5 children. And she said in the beginning of the year, she was a coach that talked about how she had been a coach in the past, got back into it, and was suffering from like postpartum depression and anxiety. And she said that one big thing that got her through was that she shared with her team intentionally what her goal was, and with her family what her goal was. And her family had an outcome, positive consequence if they achieved the goal, which was to go to Disney as a family. And the team had a goal, and that was going to be a team retreat. And that was for their entire team. It was for any coach that was an emerald or a coach or whatever level. And so it wasn't about just, 5 coaches on their teams becoming diamond to hit elite. It was about this end goal for both of their family and their team. And today, oh gosh, I feel like I'm going to get emotional, but we went to lunch as a family in a snowstorm. And I told the boys, I have 3 boys and a husband. And I said, I'm, having these calls tonight because when I'm off from Target, they love all of me. And I have to be very thoughtful about sharing my plan for the night or whatever. And I said, I have these calls but I want you to know this is all going towards our big family goal. And we talked about what that would be at the end of the year. And so I'm going to do it. So, okay, thank you.
So what's your family goal? What do you want to do?
Okay. So we live in Wisconsin. There's 2 feet of snow today.
Oh, I know, girl. I lived there. I know.
My husband went to Arizona State,
Mm-hmm.
and my boys all think, they adore my husband and they all want to go there. But we've never even taken them to Arizona. So they still want to go on a trip to Arizona and tour the campus and everything, which is very doable, but it's just fun that that's their goal.
Yeah. So that's what's driving you too.
Yeah. Yes.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool because the ripple effect is pretty cool too. Cause you never know where that ripple effect ends because it doesn't ever really end. So you never know. Like, oh my gosh, I could talk about this forever. Like they could go on that campus tour and all of a sudden meet someone that shows up in their life 3 years later that gives them a job that did it. Like the ripple effect is so crazy just from you saying, I have a dream and we're going to do this.
Yep.
It's crazy. That was awesome. So I hope everyone, Jen dropped the link to the book and the little YouTube video that you had shared in the message thread, Megan. She dropped both of those in the message thread or in the comments. So highly encourage you to get the book. We all ordered the book before she was even done talking. We had already all ordered the book and I wasn't even there. So I hope the perfume smells good. I don't really care if it smells good or not. I just like supporting her. So it'll be awesome. So I highly encourage you to get the book. Okay. Next up, Jen's going to share with us her takeaways from NLC. Okay. Let me unpin you, pin Jen. Okay. Cool. You're up, girl.
Okay, we're good. So y'all, you guys all know me well enough, I think by now. I was living in my feels this weekend. So I could hardly stand to be in my own skin. And I will share with you, and Julie knows this, the ladies in this thread know this. I was NLC vomiting all over everybody. Because the one thing, you guys, do not take this as a complaint. Okay. This is not a complaint. What they did for us was incredible and amazing. And they could not have done a better job with NLC than they did, right? They couldn't have done a better job. But the one thing it was missing was us walking out of wherever we were together, talking to each other and having dinner together and the late night bonding. That's what it was missing.
And it's so funny you say that because Jesse and I were talking about that after her weekend. This weekend was all that. And she's like, and then we're done. I said, I remember that from Summit, and then we were done. And then then there was nothing. And then I remember it in October with leadership too. And in the superstar thread, be like, and now what?
And
I know what.
Yeah.
You just you turn around, you're like, oh, I have to fold some laundry now. So that's
Yes.
that's the hard part. So you get all this amazing stuff, and then there's no, and that is the hard part to it. So you have to go there to get that. So there's a lot of logistical stuff that has to happen for you to get there, but then you're immersed in it, or you're home and you can share it with your family and have time to process. But then you got to fold laundry when you're done with it. So it's a give it and take either way.
It is. Yeah. Like the first day, well, it was only 2 days. So Friday, I picked up groceries in between session 1 and session 2, and then I put them away after session 2. And I was sharing, it feels very much when you're immersed in this, and like, I had my little earbuds in, so it's as surrounding as it can be. There's no distraction. When you're immersed in this and you feel like you are just like, you can just change the world, and you get off, it's done, you close your computer down, and then you're trying to talk to your family or your mom or a friend. And I feel like I'm a wizard amongst the muggles. Like there's they don't get it, which is why I so missed that part where you could all talk to each other and debrief and then, keep going. So I'm excited to share this with you guys. Megan and Stephanie and Sarah did such a great job recapping a lot of this. So I think I'm just tying it up and reiterating what they said. We did get, and nobody's mentioned this yet, we did get the sneak peek of Off the Wall with Autumn. So that was our sneak peek on Friday. And I'll tell you, the back of my legs are still so flippin' sore. It was so good. It was so good. So do know Off the Wall will not disappoint. It was fantastic. And Sean, I want to share a little story about Sean. Okay. The Zoom rooms that they had for NLC, there were multiple Zoom rooms. I believe there were 6. Mine was the West Coast region. On Friday, we had about 78 people who did Autumn's workout within my Zoom room. And I thought it was really interesting that on Saturday morning when Sean was doing his workout, we had 44. We had almost half of the people for that one. And I can't help but think it was 2 things. One, they were tired because the workout was at 7 a.m. West Coast time and on Saturday. But 2, I think maybe people assumed, much like I did, we were going to be twerking and TikToking with Sean for that workout. And I really wasn't wanting to do that, not going to lie. But I went into it, open mind, open heart. And I'm like, it's okay. It's Sean T. Whatever he's going to bring, we're going to get something amazing out of it. Well, the workout, from what I understand, will actually end up being the preview for everybody to do in whenever that is, the preview. It was all weights. You guys, it was all weights. And it was fantastic. So I'm excited for that. I loved it. He did an amazing job. And he did a twerking thing at the end, but it was fine. We didn't have to do that too. Okay. NLC, just recapping just a few things. And I want to give you, I guess, some tangible things, like actionable items that you can actually write down and use for yourself with inviting, or just maybe bring it back home, like what it meant for me more than anything. Sarah mentioned Carl talking about working harder as his number one tip for leadership. And he really drove that home. He opened with that, he closed with that. And the one thing that I know I have lacked, and something that I think was a great reminder, and something that he actually shared within that context of working harder. He's like, we're so good at sharing our energize. We're great at sharing our workouts because it's fun. He goes, but when's the last time you shared the video that you're watching in UPF or Tubi? When's the last time you gave people a peek of our nutrition programs and what that actually looks like, whether that's in a post or that's in your stories? He's like, we go on and we show Beachbody On Demand, and look, there's our workout catalog, but we're not actually opening up and showing that part that is so important and integral in people getting the physical results that they're looking for. Because the workout, I mean, it's like amazing, but 80% of the results come from nutrition. So I think that was a really powerful reminder, and also something that he said, work harder in your challenge groups by showing your nutrition, like show your trackers, show your meals, cook the recipes and share the recipes that you've made. Make this just as important and vital to share as it is that we share the workout that we just pushed play on. So I thought that was a really good reminder in all fronts, challenge group and social media and in inviting. And then the other thing he said was invite all the time, like all day long, constantly. You're always inviting, because he said, and I don't know about, I'll share this story just personally. Before I understood fully what we were doing as our job, I would see coaches always saying, I've worked all day, I've worked really hard, I'm doing the work. And I always questioned, what is that? Like, what tangible action are you doing that is the work? What is it? It's inviting, connecting, and it's following up. That is the work. So when he says work harder, he's meaning invite harder, invite more. And then he segued that he's like, leaders do not tell, leaders show. So leaders are not going to just be telling their teams, which you guys, I mean, all the hands up, all the likes, the hearts on Facebook, the emojis, we have the most incredible leader. She shows us every single day what to do, how to do this. Like, she has literally brought us here. Like, everything at New LC, it just reiterated, confirmed, reaffirmed what we're already getting here with Julie. So we are so blessed. But piggybacking on that, so he ended NLC with a talk on inviting. He said for the first time, he's going to share what his invites would look like. It's cute, but it's actually really good too. And I think it's important to share this because we can take, yes, sure, we could take exactly what he says and do it word for word, but we could also make this into our own tangible way of inviting and a different approach. So let's say, for instance, you have put a post up and it's been some sort of call to action. It's a transformation post. It's a post about how tired you were today or you were before and you're not anymore. It's a post about your team. It's a post about your vision and where you're going, which Facebook and Instagram has been blowing up with Spartan Nation coaches just tagging each other like crazy. It's like ping pong back and forth of sharing our visions, which is amazing because we are creating amazing energy and momentum. Keep it going, keep it going. But let's say we shared a post and somebody likes or comments on that post and you thank the comment, in a thread, but you turn and you send them a private message to say for the invite. And I want to just kind of share this. I just want to share this with you. So let's say you shared your transformation, just blanket statement here. Let's say you shared your transformation. You would come back and you would say, hi, Julie, thank you so much for the encouragement, the compliment on my transformation. I really, really appreciate you. How are things going in your world? Would you like to get healthy with me? Sending something like that. And by the way, I took that from Trina Gray and from Carl, and I'm going somewhere with this. So asking the question, how are you? And inviting them, would you like to get healthy with me? Carl says, okay, he's like, say I got that invite. He says, my response would be, no, thanks. And he's like, why am I saying no, thanks? Because I don't fully know what you're inviting me to. I don't know what I'm saying no, thank you to, because we haven't had that conversation. So from there, he said, there are three questions. ask all the questions, but there are 3 questions you have got to ask with every single invite, even if they say no, because don't take no thank you and just go, okay, let me know when you're ready, or thanks for the reply, or we just don't reply. So he said, 3 things we need to find out. What do they want, as far as what are they looking for in their life that they need to change, whether that's health, fitness, whatever it may be, whatever it is. Why do they want that change? And what obstacles are they currently dealing with right now? What obstacles are they feeling? What obstacles are they having right now? If you can get people into the conversations back and forth, that no thank you might turn into a yes now, or it could be the multiple seeds that you just planted that if they think about it a little bit, a month, a couple months, 6 months, whatever it may be, when they're more ready, they're going to come back and be like, right, we had this talk. So he said, and he just briefly kind of went over this, but he said, let's say I said no thanks. He said, then reply back, why don't you want to get healthy with me? Why did you like my post? Why would you not want to change? He's like, what was the point? Obviously, we can have a little more tact than that. But I thought that was a good opening or a segue to, okay, well then, why did you like my post? Why do you keep watching my stories every single day? Why do you give me so much love? Is it just because you're here for the show? Or is it because there's a part of it that inspires you, but you're kind of afraid to maybe take action on? And I think for the most part, it's the latter. I think people are scared. I know I was. I mean, I didn't know what I was coming into. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I just wanted to lose weight and have more money. Like, that was the whole premise. And I was focused very much on what I could lose, not what I could gain. And I've gained a whole hell of a lot. So I think that was really important for him to just share that. Ask more questions. Don't be intimidated by the no. He also said everyone should be reading Go for No, the book. So that was something he shared too. And then he said, if people are saying no to the price, he said, it's just because they don't understand the value of it. They don't understand what Shakeology or this investment can do for them. And that can just be a simple conversation back and forth. So I thought what he shared was really good. And I think it was tangible, actionable steps that we can all take. But it's also something that we can make into our own as well. And then from there, I kind of want to segue to Keyshawn, because Keyshawn came on and told us a story a few years ago, or a couple years ago, maybe a year ago. I might be getting this timeline wrong. But she hiked Mount Kilimanjaro, and with a team that was from Germany, and one of the men was paralyzed, or he had no legs, or I forget what it was. But she talks about the teamwork and the effort that took to get him to the top of the mountain. And I'm not going to go into the whole story about that because that's her story to tell on that. But the important part is linking our personal goals with our Beachbody goals, which is something that Julie shares all the time. Link your personal goals. What do you want in life with your Beachbody goals? And with that, when you link them together, link arms with the team that's going to run with you, that's going to support you, that's working on their goal, their personal goals, their Beachbody goals as well. And all of you are working to climb this mountain together, which at the top is whatever goal you have put up there. But she said, link your arms together to make that happen, and envision the coach you want to attract. Envision who he or she is. Talk about who he or she is. If we're talking about nothing but, and this is a reminder for me too, guys, like I am in the very deep trench of this with you. Talk about who you're looking for, what you want to attract, not constantly going down the struggles that you've had before and overcome. Talk about more like future stuff, like where you're going versus that. Envision who you want to be as a coach and make that happen. Envision who you want to be like and act like that coach. Even if you're an emerald, but you really want to be a 15-star diamond, act like a 15-star diamond. You don't have to action towards you don't have to have seen it happen in order for yourself to believe that it can happen. She reiterated more times, believe in yourself. Believe that you can do this, believe in your team, believe in your teammates. Belief is a huge, huge part of this. And if we ever questioned, we don't have that video, do we? The video? We don't have the video.
We can
Okay.
put it in the team page later. Yeah.
Okay. So she ended it with a huge picture, a huge like Zoom picture of transformation pictures. And I believe they were from all the coaches at NLC. But she's like, look at the pictures. And we have this from Sparta Nation. We have a video that we've put together that's a minute long. If you truly step back and you look at those transformations, know that you are making an impact with that invitation. That invitation is not selfish or dollar signs or any of that. That invitation is impact. And it's the impact that we can make on people's lives. It's the impact that income can bring to our life, and so that we can give more as well. Like there's so much ripple effect and goodness that can come from those invites. And if you really stop and think, I know if I stop and think, where would I be if Beachbody was not in my life? I shudder to think about where I would be. Our transformations, whether it's 5 pounds you've lost or 100 pounds you've lost or somewhere in between, or maybe you've gained because you needed to, whatever you've gained in your life from being with us, know that that's the driving force and the heart behind all of your invitations. And those invites can save the life of a family member, a friend, an acquaintance, whoever it is. You never know whose life you're going to touch. So I thought she did a really beautiful job, and the impact that she made with that picture was really just beautiful. So, one more thing I want to share with you. So Kevin Shaw in our box gave us a card, and he told all of us, don't open this until Kevin Shaw tells you. So there was like this big mystery of what is in the card. He did not speak at Wait, did he speak? Maybe a little bit at NLC. I think he introduced somebody. I don't know. But he was on the Facebook page talking to us on there before he did like the pre-show. And he was talking about the simple act of gratitude and how much that can make in the lives of people. And he said, sometimes it's just as simple as a handwritten note. He said the impact you can make, not just from the invitations and stuff like that, but just recognizing your team or your challengers or whoever you can recognize in your life, not because they've hit a rank, not because they've hit Success Club, not any of that. You just see them working really hard. He's like, the power of good job is really huge. And so he wrote a letter or card, and he said, congrats on making it to NLC. This is a big deal for any coach. Use this time to grow into the leader you're meant to be by lifting those around you. Kevin Shaw. P.S. Keep up the good work. And then up here he said, I am so proud of you. And in there, he actually put two little cards in here. And he asked us to pay it forward with a little card. Also, so maybe that's something that we all as a team could do this week, just to recognize one or two people, or more, if you have more, but one or two people that you just think could really use you're doing a great job and I'm really proud of you. So.
Okay, that's amazing. Did he write all those notes?
Yeah, he said it took him what did he say? A couple months.
Oh my gosh.
It took him a couple months. He goes, I have writer. He's like, I can't even hardly hold my pen anymore. He's like, I wasn't around my family.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to remove Jen's pin for a minute. And those of you watching, because we got a couple things left to cover, those of you watching, if you want to take a picture of these ladies so that you can put them on your stories and tell them thank you for sharing all that they've learned so that you can learn too, we can learn too. This is your time now. Take a picture, do your boomerang, take a picture. And then we've got just a couple little things to cover before we wrap up. And I know this has been longer than normal, but it's worth it because we don't have NLC every week. We have NLC this weekend. So that makes tonight a little bit longer, and that's okay. CEOs of multi-million-dollar businesses show up. It's just what we do. So take your picture now, if you're taking a picture, and then I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Hope you got it. Sorry, can you guys hear my dog barking upstairs? What? Usually it's Jesse singing. Okay, we're coming back here. Okay, we're just going to wrap up with this quickly. I was going to give you a quick tutorial, but maybe I'll do that later just so we don't go much longer. I want to make sure that you know that the daily activity tracker is live in your Coach Online office right now. If you've not had a chance to explore this, do that tonight. Go into your Coach Online office, click on Grow My Business. It's right down here. When you click on that, it will open up and you'll be cued to put in your why. You'll be cued to put in a description of your ideal customer. And then every time you open up that tracker, those two pieces of information are staring at you smack dab in the face, reminding you why you're doing what you're doing and who you want to invite. And it's an incredible digital tracker. At some point later this year, you're going to be able to send it to your upline coach via the intrawebs. You won't even have to worry about paper and pencil anymore. Until then, you can screenshot it, you can do all of that. But if you've not had a chance to explore this new digital tracker yet, please do so because it's amazing. Y'all, when I started this business 13 years ago, we didn't even have a Coach Online office. We have a digital tracker now. It's unbelievable. And the beautiful part about the tracker, if you haven't had a chance to look at it, it also gives you times, like suggested times. And there's a timer in the corner. So when you're doing invites and it says 20 minutes, you can start the timer. It's so brilliant. It's so brilliant. So please dive into that. Take a look at that. Share with your upline coach. Do all the things because it's just really an incredible tool. Okay. And then last, as we wrap up, just some thoughts that I was thinking over the week, listening to them and watching Jessie and her, workshop this weekend. That stuff always inspires me, and just listening to other mentors. These are the thoughts that I wrote down to kind of close with tonight. First of all, you got to show up for the work. You can't just show up for the stage. You can't show up for the glitz. You can't show up for the trip. You got to show up for the work. And when you show up for the work, you'll get the other stuff. But these ladies showed up for the work and they still got the stuff, even if it wasn't in Las Vegas. I've been to Las Vegas. It's not that great. So I think that they had a better experience just in their own living room. It's a much cleaner, healthier experience, but just show up for the work. That's what you raised your hand to do. And you're not going to build an extraordinary business or an extraordinary life coasting. So many people are like right here on the surface. They're so afraid to show up to the Brad meetings on Mondays, to show up to these calls. Like someone's going to ask them a question that makes them think a little bit. Yes, that's the point of life. Is that you got to think a little bit. And when you think a little bit and you start to realize your potential, show up for the work. Show up because you want to be pushed. Show up to be pushed. Because when you get pushed, when you get challenged, it's because somebody cares about you. And my husband as a football coach has always said, the worst is when someone stops coaching you. The worst is when you stop getting feedback because they've seen that you don't care anymore either. And that you can only give feedback and push and coach someone who's receiving it and taking it. So show up for that because it will make you better. We know how to build a business online. I was thinking about that this weekend as these ladies were experiencing NLC online, and we've been online, and Jessie's some of Jessie's workshops that she thought maybe would go live a little bit later this year are not. Everything's going to be online this year. And I thought about that with us, we know how to do this. So it's not 2020 anymore where like, this is like, oh my gosh, what do we do? No, we know now how to build a business online. So now we get the opportunity to take what we know and actually level it up, because there's no more unknown with how do we build a business online? Oh, we know now. So now it's time to level that up. And I saw the posts, as Jen mentioned over the weekend, of people that has never shared big goals and dreams before sharing them. And I saw the cheering on that. That stuff doesn't go unnoticed. When you share posts and you share your dreams and your goals and your teammates cheer you on, that doesn't go unnoticed. That energy doesn't go unnoticed. It doesn't go unreciprocated. It doesn't go unnoticed. So know that when you are putting yourself out there, we're seeing it. People are seeing it. Your teammates are seeing it. We're cheering you on. Your kindness doesn't go unnoticed to your team or to the universe. It just doesn't. And last, I want you to remember, especially as we head into Team Cup, build a business on your habits, build a business on your beliefs, build a business on your vision, and build a business on your energy. People buy your energy. They buy your vision. They buy the ticket for the bus ride of where you're going. They give two poops about the program you're doing. We get in our head about, I have to be doing 9-week Control Freak, or I have to be doing this, or I have to be doing this. Yeah, do it or not. They don't know. They don't care. They don't know and they don't care. They buy your energy and your vision, and they buy the plan that you will connect them with, which may or may not be the program that you're doing. It doesn't matter. What matters is your energy and your vision. That's what they're buying. How many times have you personally clicked purchase to something that you have absolutely no need for, but it was just like the energy was so cool that I bought an Anna and Elsa doll in Disney World that I had no need for. I don't know how many years ago, because the lady was like, you know what, you can't even get those anymore. I'm like, yes, I can. Yes, I can. I don't need Anna and Elsa Barbie dolls, but I have them upstairs because her energy and her vision was so compelling. And I'm like, here's my church card. That's what people are buying. They don't know or care what program you're doing. They don't care what flavor Shakeology you're drinking. They don't care. They care about your vision and your energy and the bus ride that you're going to take them on that's somewhere a little bit better than where they are now, which doesn't mean they don't like where they are now, but everybody wants better. Everybody wants better, and that's okay. Sell the energy. Sell your vision. Boldly and unapologetically. Put it out there tonight. Put it out there tomorrow, put it out there on Tuesday, and keep putting it out there. Build your business on habits and mindsets, practices, the best practices. And 13 years later, you'll still be here too. If I'm building my business on a program, guess what? Ain't nobody doing P90X anymore. Nobody's doing Turbo Jam anymore. But we're doing a life. We're building a lifestyle. Build your business on your energy and your vision. And you'll be here for life, and you'll change a lot of lives along the way. Thank you for being on. Thank you for being on a little bit longer. Thank you to these ladies for sharing. Recording will be up later this week, and let them know what you took away from this too. Put it on social, message them here, put it in the comments, tag them. What hit you tonight? What quote hit you tonight? And also in the comments, let us know who's going to be at NLC 2022, because that'll be like right before we go to Disneyland. So, who wants to sort of like tag team that NLC right before Diamonds to Disney and just go 2 trips? And like, we're not going to travel for like 2 years, and then all of a sudden in 2022, we're never going to be home. No one's home ever. They're going to be calling us. I'm be like, no, I'm boarding my dogs for the year and I'm out. I'm out of here. So who's going to be at NLC 2022? Let us know in the comments. All right, let's make it a great week. It's Team Cup. Starts tomorrow, February 1st. See you guys later.